Hello and welcome to the Cinematic Attic YouTube channel. I'm Mike. How are you? This is the channel where we love all movies, all genres, all formats of physical media, and we keep things positive. So if that's okay with you, welcome. So today I have a rather huge haul of new additions to the collection. I took advantage of a few sales, quite a lot. But before I get into that, obviously, you can see there's a big stack here behind me of items. This could be potentially the biggest haul I've ever shown up front on one of these videos. So let me get into it. First of all, some pickups, things that weren't sale items. From Imprint, I finally decided to pick up The Uninvited and The Unseen double feature. The Uninvited is a film that I have seen and have owned on this VHS, which I can now get rid of. But The Unseen, the easy joke here is it's been pretty unseen. You can watch it on YouTube, which is where I watched it some time ago. But if you want to own it, this might be it, at least on disc. So I decided to go ahead and get this to upgrade, and then to get this movie that's maybe only going to be available on here. Who knows? So, and it has some really nice special features. I was watching some of those, so I'd recommend that. This one, just a regular studio release, but a movie that I can't believe I've never owned. Once I realized this, I went and bought it immediately. Where's Mary's Baby? How have I not owned this? I don't know. But fix that. From Code Red, picked up an older title that I wanted to make sure I had in the collection. I like the movie. I love the music in the movie. Cut and Run. Wanted to make sure I had that in the collection. Brand new Eureka title I picked up to specifically upgrade a VHS. The Tattooed Dragon. I've had this VHS a long time, and I can now part with it. A couple older films, just upgrading things. These were cheap on, I think, Amazon perhaps, but just VHS upgrades, including this Warner Brothers film, Mogumbo. Upgrading my VHS. Clark Gable film. And from Warner Archive, Bawani Junction, Ava Gardner film. Upgrading this. Criterion. Two titles this month. First, I picked up the new title of Thelonious Monk Straight No Chaser. Yeah. Because I actually had that VHS. So I wanted to upgrade it. And then also went ahead and picked up De Palma's Sisters to upgrade my VHS. From Kino, I picked up Odds Against Tomorrow, specifically to upgrade this. This is a film noir that I still need to watch. But Harry Belafonte, Robert Ryan, Shelley Winters. Sounds fun. From Kino Cult, one that I wasn't going to get, but then I got this DVD that had excerpts from some of these films, and I don't like excerpts. I need to have the full film. So I just went ahead and picked up the Betty Page Teaserama Varieties. I think this is a triple feature from Kino Cult. Just some cheap DVDs to upgrade VHS. Time Machine. Upgrade. The Creeping Flesh. Upgrading this old RCA VHS. Still has all the flaps, but it's being upgraded. And this one's not an upgrade, but one I've seen and really enjoyed, Target Earth. A 1954 science fiction film that is really fun. I'd recommend this to anyone who likes old sci-fi, if you haven't seen it. Some Shout Factory discs. Telephone. Charles Bronson. I was upgrading this VHS, and then I also discovered that I do have it on DVD, so I really didn't need to buy this, but oh well. That's just one that's slipped by my record keeping. And then storytelling as Shout Select, specifically to upgrade VHS. Scream Factory. Yeah, gotta. You'll see a lot of Scream Factory in this update, all told. But here's some that I picked up on my own, outside of sales or whatnot. The Strangler. Upgrading this VHS. The brand new releases, the brand new 4K releases, I had to get them because I've never owned them. Sleepaway Camp 2 and 3. I have seen them, but have never owned them. So I grabbed the new 4Ks, and I just grabbed the regular discs. I think they had some other special promotional items you could get if you got, I don't know, some special edition, but I just wanted the movies, so just got those. Something I often do when Vinegar Syndrome, or frankly any other label like Severin or whatnot, releases a movie that I need to upgrade, but their edition is big and expensive, and I don't really want to pay that much just to upgrade. That kind of instantly triggers me to go find a cheaper alternative, which I did for Mac and Me. Upgrading a VHS. This is one I've heard a lot about and was really eager to see it. I've watched it, and it's one of my favorite watches of the year. When a Stranger Calls Back. I loved this movie, and I got it to upgrade this old cut box VHS. So, recommend that. Another example of the Vinegar Syndrome higher priced alternative that I didn't want. I went ahead and got a cheaper edition of The Dark Half to upgrade a VHS. Dr. Giggles. Just upgrading this VHS, I figured it was time. And I've heard good things about this, so I wanted to check it out, and I love made-for-TV movies, so... Actually, this is not made for TV. I think I thought it was for a long time. But you'll like my mother. No, really. Yeah, so... those are those. Then next, I ordered some things from Hamilton Books. And some of them are upgrades, some of them are not. Some of them are just cheap fun. Starting with the Olive Films Blu-ray of Black Caesar, which I realized I needed to upgrade. Um, Post-apocalyptic from Severin, 2020 Texas Gladiators. I didn't buy this when it first came out because I didn't want the more expensive edition. Hamilton Books had the standard edition for a decent price. I kind of held off buying a lot of Severin um, because I know they're having a sale at the end of July. But I got this from Hamilton Books because right time, right price. Can't wait to watch it. But I did get some Severin DVDs because they were really cheap. No One Heard the Scream. Fulci for Fake. And Black Cat. Because I like my old B Westerns, they had this cheap, starring Johnny Mac Brown. They have an old Western serial of Wild West Days from VCI. Oh, here's another Severin. Forgot this one. Cannibal Man. Some Scorpion titles from Hamilton Books. Got the Psycho Savages and Curse 3. They had this for a decent price from Grindhouse Releasing, one that I had been meaning to pick up for a while. Impulse, William Shatner. Like I said, I love made-for-TV movies. They had a couple of Perry Mason TV movie collections. 2 movies per disc. Really cheap. Pick those up. Another Olive title on DVD. This one I got specifically to upgrade VHS. Some Disney. Just upgrading from VHS. Hot Lead and Cold Feet. A movie I haven't seen since I was a little kid. And then, again, love my Westerns. They had really cheap the second season of The Lone Ranger Show. So, pick that up. So that was Hamilton Books. Pickups. Kino Lorber had a sale. Feels like I'm starting to read a storybook. I grabbed, I think, 55 titles. Not my biggest haul during a Kino sale, but maybe the second. Opening up the box. All right. Let's start out with Kino cult titles I picked up. Got 3 of those, looks like. Bobby Joe and the Outlaw with Linda Carter. Always meaning to pick that up. Crawl Space. And a movie I actually just watched recently. Food of the Gods. I watched that, and then it was not more than a couple weeks later that the disc was for sale, so I got it. Burn Witch Burn, also known as Night of the Eagle, which, I mean, it makes a little less sense, but Burn Witch Burn is a good title. That's a cool cover. I have seen this. The same story, I believe, was also told in one of the Inner Sanctum movies, if I'm remembering correctly. The Big Bus. I've heard good things about this. It sounds interesting. It looks interesting. Um, Thought I'd check it out. It has quite the cast. Ghost Warrior. Cross Creek, which I picked up just to upgrade VHS. The Glass Web. That looked fun. 1953 film and 3D. It includes some glasses, so that's always fun. Below the Belt. Seems like an interesting film. 1980. Twisted. Actually, a 2004 film. It's weird to see films from 2000 anything be in the Kino Lorber Studio Classics collection, but that's more years ago than it feels like. So, one that I watched way back then. Sands of Iwo Jima. This was totally VHS upgrade. Posse with Kirk Douglas, Bruce Dern, Bo Hopkins. I tried to pick up some westerns. Any westerns that I didn't already have. Even if they were not upgrades. Catch the Heat, 1987. Francis. Upgrade. Foul Play. Another upgrade. Secret Beyond the Door. Looked intriguing. Like the cover. Revenge of the Ninja. Revenge of the Upgrade. The Bermuda Triangle. I believe there were two movies called The Bermuda Triangle from 1979. I don't know if they were both documentaries, but this is the one that's associated with Charles Berlitz, who did the famous book about the Bermuda Triangle, which I started reading when I was a kid. Haven't ever finished it. But I've seen this. And the 70s had a lot of documentaries about the unexplained, and this is one, and I enjoy them. From Alberto De Martino, Antichrist, 1974, not to be confused with the later film of the same name with Willem Dafoe. Dragnet from 1954. Among the Living from 1941. I was trying to get a lot of older films through the sale. The Accused. Botany Bay. I do enjoy movies, naval movies, movies about people on a boat, especially in olden times. Master and Commander, that kind of thing. Mutiny on the Bounty. So, Billy Budd. So, wanted to check this out. It's from 1953. The Lincoln Conspiracy, 1977. George C. Scott, Hardcore. I've seen this and just never owned it. A Paul Schrader film. Baby Blood. Honky Tonk Freeway. I heard someone talk about this on a podcast. It sounded fun. Man on the Moon. 1999, which is crazy that it was that long ago. Upgrading VHS. Summer Rental. John Candy. Upgrade. They Went That Away and That Away. Upgrading VHS. Double feature of Anthony Quinn films, The Ride Back and Man from Del Rio. Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal. I thought I owned this, but nope. So, picked it up. The Road to Hong Kong. One of the Bob Hope and Bing Crosby road movies. Upgrading VHS. I may have all of those now on disc. Not 100% sure. Let's see, not yet. Red Mountain. Alan Ladd Western. 1951. The Plainsman. 1936 Western. Gary Cooper. Wings of the Hawk. Also with a Woody Woodpecker short film, strangely. The Veil. This was kind of odd because it's a 2016 film on Studio Classics. They must have had some arrangement to put this out. But this was super cheap. That's the reason I got it. It was, I think, maybe one of the $4.99 ones. So I said, sure. Thomas Jane, Jessica Alba. Tomahawk. Van Heflin, 1951. Man in the Shadow. This is a VHS upgrade. Some Orson Welles in there. Man Without a Star. Kirk Douglas Western. Secret Ceremony. It's a 1968 film with Elizabeth Taylor and Mia Farrow. Hannibal. Upgrading a VHS. Revenge of the Shogun Women. It's a 3D, another 3D movie. Has glasses. Also has some 3D shorts. Prison Girls. So another 3D with glasses. I think I watched this on Netflix streaming a long time ago, back when they had a better variety. Peter Sellers in The Party. It's an upgrade. Jane Russell, Jeff Chandler in Foxfire. Let's see. Gotcha. Anthony Edwards. Linda Florentino. Okay, so those are all the Studio Classics proper. These are just some regular Kino stuff. Finally picked up Night Tide with Dennis Hopper. Curtis Harrington film that is really creepy. If you've never seen this, check it out. I've always loved that cover. But finally getting a copy of this for myself. Ganja and Hess, a movie I've heard much about, have never seen, so grabbed that. Some silent films from the teens, 19 teens. Devil's Needle and Other Tales of Vice and Redemption. There are three films on here. One you would consider a short, but always interested to pick up some silent films, some rare films. Like this one from 1919. The Delicious Little Devil. Bridget Bardot. And this one will upgrade a VHS. The Kaiser of California, which I think is a German Western. Haven't really looked into that, but it sounded interesting, so picked it up. F.W. Murnau's The Last Laugh. I watched this a long time ago. It may have been a disc I got from Netflix back when, everyone still did that. Back when it was possible to do that. Wanted to get a copy. This is from 1924. And the last thing from the Kino sale, The Mask, which is another 3D film. I'll have to use glasses out of another set. But I do have this on VHS, but I'm keeping it because it's actually an Elvira presented VHS. So, but anyway, upgrading the movie at least. Yeah, so we can move this box. Now, the last huge pile of things. This is all from the recent Target sale, which is buy two, get one free. I may have gotten 120 things. A lot of people don't realize this, but you can get quite the selection from Target online in terms of physical media, movies, including many boutique labels. So I just went a little crazy. First, though, I did use the sale to finish getting all of the Gene Autry collection DVDs. Collection 1. And I have 2. I have 3. Here's 4. I think you'll actually see a couple more of these later in the video that I got from eBay, just to finish what Target didn't have. So there's 5, 6, 7, and 8, 9, and I have 10, 11, and here's 12. Now, Timeless Media, through Shout, it says, did this 12-volume set where they put 4 movies in a thin, regular-sized case. Then there were also 6 volumes separate from these that they also called the Gene Autry collection, which they should not have done. I mean, they called them all Green Autry? Yeah. Even the ones they released only as single discs. So it made it really confusing if you say you want collection volume 2 and there's 2 different volume 2s. There's the one that looks like this, and then there's a totally different one that has 4 films that's a pack in a cardboard box with 4 individual DVDs. You'll see those next time. I went after those as well, but not from Target. Also, just some things from VCI that led me down another rabbit hole of a bunch of DVDs you'll see next time. They have a Hammer Film Noir double feature series. Here's volumes 3 and 4. I went after the rest of them on eBay, and I found that the cheapest way to do that is to buy them as sets. So I may be rebuying one or both of these, depending what I ordered. I don't remember, as part of a bigger set. But Hammer Film Noir. I've been into Hammer quite a bit recently, and I love film noir, so put the two together, and it's like, duh, yeah, I should have had these already. So I ordered all the rest of those. Then there's also VCR's Forgotten Noir series. I already had 1 volume of this, but I realized there's a lot more. And so I went down a rabbit hole of buying a bunch more of those. This is the other one I got from Target sale. This one actually collects volumes 7, 8, and 9. They did this where they would do individual volumes like this, which is number 3. But then they'd collect 1 through 3 like this. So I may be rebuying this one, I'm not sure. But I did get all of the rest of these. These are from the Kit Parker Films collection. Mill Creek, I think, put out a bunch of those on DVD, Blu-ray. But there are still plenty more, apparently, because out of the ones I got here, and there's 9 movies on this and 2 on here, I only had 1 of them. This one. So lots of film noir that I don't have, which is amazing. So got those. Speaking of VCI, I got their Blu-ray of A Bullet for Sandoval, Ernest Borgnine, George Hilton, to upgrade VHS. A couple MVD classics Blu-rays, westerns. These look to be maybe spaghetti westerns or Spanish westerns or something like that. 4 Bullets for Joe and Hudson River Massacre, which is actually directed by the guy who did Tombs of the Blind Dead, so that sounds fun. From Arrow Video, picked up Black Rainbow with Rosanna Arquette, Jason Robards to upgrade VHS. Just a studio release, but upgraded the talented Mr. Ripley onto Blu-ray. I got this 4-pack of Westerns from Timeless Media Group. But Rio Concho's Take a Hard Ride, Butch and Sundance, The Early Days, and The Last Hard Man. All of which I did not have. So that was totally worth it. A couple more studio release VHS upgrades, Adventures in Babysitting, The Shadow, from Dark Force Entertainment. Yes, Target has things from Arrow and Dark Force Entertainment, and you'll see Indicator and Scream Factory and Synapse and Kino Lorber. It's a decent resource, especially when there's a sale. But from Dark Force Entertainment, Mirror Mirror 2 Raven Dance to upgrade a VHS. Actually an Anchor Bay VHS. Early appearance of Mark Ruffalo. Yep. And also from Dark Force, this double feature of The Loners and Dragon vs. Needles of Death. From MVD Rewind, picked up their recent release of Joysticks. Just a studio Blu-ray, Dead Ringer, upgrading VHS. From Film Detective, Monster from Green Hell. That looks so fun. And then from Film Masters, double feature of Creature with the Blue Hand and Web of the Spider. Classic old monsters and such. Speaking of Hammer, they had this Hammer Horror 8 film collection, which has 8 movies: Brides of Dracula, Curse of the Werewolf, which upgraded VHS, Night Creatures, which I've seen, Phantom of the Opera, which actually upgrades a DVD, Paranoiac, Kiss of the Vampire, upgrade, Nightmare, upgrade, and the Evil of Frankenstein. So, well worth picking up this 8 film collection. Hammer Horror. I got just some stuff that I was missing from the collection, like the Aquaman: A Lost Kingdom Blu-ray and Peacemaker first series. I upgraded regular studio Blu-ray for Legend, upgrading VHS. Same thing with Daylight with Stallone, upgrading VHS. The only thing I got from Indicator was this, I think, recent release, Harlequin. This nice release with a book. This I got specifically to upgrade this VHS under its other title of Dark Forces. From, oh, another MVD rewind. Witch Trap. Just some more things to add to the collection that I've been putting off, like F9, the Fast Saga, the Star Trek Short Treks collection, and this one was an accident. I didn't think I owned this yet, but this is the 2022-ish? No, 2021 Scream movie, which once I got it, I realized, oh, I had the DVD, so, oh well, upgrade. Alright. Some Kino Lorbers that I got during the sale. Murder, Alfred Hitchcock film. I didn't even realize this was Kino Lorber until I got it. But I was just trying to upgrade this VHS. And it also comes with a bonus German version that was also directed by Hitchcock, called Mary. Rustler's Rhapsody, which, oops, another one that I already had on DVD that I didn't think I owned, but upgrading the DVD by accident. But hey, at least there's a commentary on here, so. Pray for Death with Sho Kosugi. I thought I owned this on VHS, but I didn't own it at all, so grabbed it. Law and Order from 1932. Also a bonus film Without Honor, which I did have on DVD already, but oh well, blue upgrade. But I got it for Law and Order. Pursued, Teresa Wright and Robert Mitchum. A Western that I wanted to check out. House of Long Shadows. Canon film with Vincent Price, Christopher Lee, and Peter Cushing. Of course, I had to get it. Nathan Hayes. VHS upgrade. Dinosaurus. Also a VHS upgrade. The Last Sunsets, more westerns. Kirk Douglas, Rock Hudson. From Kino Cult, got the new release, Sugar Hill, because I've never owned it, and I've always been interested to see it. Oh, another Dark Force Entertainment that I missed when I showed the other two, but Forced Entry. From Raro, Alien Terror, also known as Alien 2 on Earth. Always been curious to check this out. From Film Detective on DVD, Frankenstein's Daughter, which technically is a VHS upgrade for me, but I'm keeping the VHS. I think it might also be an Elvira Presents VHS. from SRS Cinema. Got a couple of their shot on video line that they have with this theme. City of the Vampires and Terror of the Master. And then Tim Ritter's Truth or Dare. Yes, from Target. From Shout Factory, a DVD double feature of Gordon's War and Off Limits, and that actually upgrades this VHS. Well, another film detective, Giant from the Unknown. Just a regular studio release of Nighthawks to upgrade my VHS. And another studio release, Sugarland Express, Spielberg's film, upgrading VHS. VCI, Barbara Stanwyck film, my quest to get all of her films. Caldo Queen of Montana, Ronald Reagan. From VCI, The Bat Whispers, from 1931. Then we have some Synapse DVDs. Got Countess Dracula, because it's a Hammer horror film. Hands of the Ripper, because it's a Hammer horror film. Then I got Mosquito. And Night of Death. From VCI, Empire of the Dark. This film, directed and starring Steve Barkett. He is the one who directed the movie and started the movie Aftermath, which I thought was a lot of fun. This is another movie he did, so I wanted to check it out. Also comes with some short films. VCI, one of Mary Pickford's films from 1926, Sparrows. This actually upgrades a VHS, but I'm keeping the VHS because it's a collectible item to me, anyway. So got that. Another VCI, Beyond Atlantis. Next, studio release of Andromeda Strain, which I got just to upgrade VHS. Actually, this is just a Warner Brothers release of Frankenstein Must Be Destroyed. You might think it would be a Scream Factory, but it's not. Upgrading this VHS. Another VCI, Santa Claus, but this is the one with Santa Claus versus Satan. I believe this is a Mexican film. Actually, Rene Cardona. But I'm upgrading the VHS of this really deceptive VHS compared to what you get. I mean, it's still, I think, a kid's movie, but when you buy this and you realize that, oh, it's Santa versus Satan, It's not a cartoon. Yeah, so upgrading. Then, oh, another VCI. Chariots of the Gods documentary, one of those 70s documentaries about UFOs and such. Upgrading this VHS, which also came out from VCI way back when. So, now some Shout Factory UHF upgrade. Earthquake. Now, I already had this movie on DVD, but what I did not have was the longer television cut of the film, which I wanted, which you can get on here. So I got this, and I'll actually be then getting rid of this DVD because this has both versions, and that's what I want. So, Earthquake. That's from Shout Select, and so are these next several, including Matinee, Upgrades VHS, Backbeat, Beatles movie, upgrading VHS that I got and watched a long time ago. Shakedown, Peter Weller, Sam Elliott, VHS upgrade. Plague Dogs, VHS upgrade. Into the Night, Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Pfeiffer, VHS upgrade. Double feature of Robert Mitchum films, Farewell, My Lovely, and The Big Sleep. The first film I actually had on VHS, so I can upgrade that. Boom! I thought I already owned this movie on VHS, but I was getting it confused with Burn, which I think also had Richard Burton. I could be wrong, but I got Boom and Burn mixed up. So anyway, got Boom. And up some Synapse Blu-rays that are in the wrong place, but oh well. Thou Shalt Not Kill Except. Finally got this movie. Never owned it. Still haven't seen it. Frank Henenlotter's film. Long Weekend. Surprised I didn't own this, but I've seen it. Nature Gets Its Revenge. And Crocodile. Now the rest of these are all Scream Factory. I got a lot of Scream Factory. There's a lot of Scream Factory available on Target.com. I'm not endorsing Target, but I'm just telling you, it's there. Scream for help? No, don't. Honestly, just the movie. Death Becomes Her. VHS upgrade. I've had this a long time. Got RoboCop 2 and 3. to upgrade both VHS. War of the Colossal Beast. Upgrading this VHS that I've had a long time with some dust on it. Anyway. The Island, but not that island. This one has Michael Caine. I have seen this. Interesting film. The Spider, also known as Earth versus the Spider. Some classic 50s sci-fi. Eyes of a Stranger. Dead Ringers, Cronenberg. Upgrade. Plague of the Zombies. But this one, I do have on VHS, so this upgrades the VHS, but I'm keeping the VHS because it's one of those Anchor Bay clamshells that has, you know, the reversible sleeve and all that, so I want to keep it. Phantom of the Paradise. De Palma. Upgrading VHS. An old cut box VHS. Man's Best Friend. Upgrade. And I've said this before. I've been collecting a long time, so I still have a lot of VHS I'm upgrading, which is why you see so much of that. One day I'll have everything upgraded that can be. But until then. Eye of the Cat. I've seen this film. It's a fun film. Got Night of the Demons 2 and 3. I do have one. And that'll upgrade this VHS of 2, which is actually a screener copy. Some people collect these. I tend to just not want them. So, getting rid of that. The Witches. White of the Eye, which is actually VHS upgrade. Shocker. Upgrade. Brain Scan. I haven't seen this since 1995 or 6. But finally owning it. X, The Unknown. The Guardian. This will upgrade a VHS. Frankenstein and the Monster from Hell. Upgrade. American Gothic. Rod Steiger. Von DeCarlo. VHS upgrade. Frankenstein, the True Story. This does have the longer version. This VHS that I'm getting rid of has the shorter version, so happy I haven't watched it yet. So I can now watch the longer one. Cherry Falls. Brittany Murphy's in that. And this is a VHS upgrade. I thought I had seen this, but apparently I have not. So I'll be looking forward to that. The Reptile. Now, last video I mentioned how one of these Scream Factory releases actually upgraded a World of Hammer VHS. This one includes the World of Hammer episode Wicked Women, which I had on VHS, so I can now get rid of that. As I said, Anchor Bay put some of those World of Hammer episodes out on VHS individually. They're only like 25 minutes long, but it's on here, so that's going away. I have another one of those coming up. Meantime, Dark Angel, also known as I Come in Peace, which I can get rid of. Dolph Lundgren. Night of the Sorcerers and the Lorelli's Grasp double feature. Frankenstein Created Women. Ninja 3, The Domination. Piranha 2, The Spawning. Directed by James Cameron, but don't tell anyone. Upgrading VHS. Alligator 2, The Mutation. I love Alligator 1. This is not as good, but still a fun time. Steve Railsback, Joseph Bologna as the star of this movie. So, alligator killing people, fun. Dracula, Prince of Darkness from Hammer. This one includes the World of Hammer episode Dracula and the Undead, which allows me to get rid of this World of Hammer VHS. Strays. The Ambulance. Larry Cohen film. Upgrade. Deadly Blessing, a movie I've always wanted to see. Wes Craven film, actually. Ernest Borgnine. Pick that up. The Mangler. Upgrade. Toby Hooper. And the last one. The last movie to spotlight up front here. We're over an hour. It's only appropriate that we go out with this film, because who doesn't like Trog with Joan Crawford upgrading a VHS. But this is the 120th item I got from the Target sale. Yeah, so I'm tired. Here's everything else I picked up from eBay. $1 pickup at an antique mall. From eBay. And then from Goodwill. Including this really nice oscilloscope edition of Meek's Cutoff. From an antique mall. Summertime means flea markets. And this is what I got at one flea market. So let's take a closer look. Starting with these. And continuing with these. And even more. And still more. Including a couple Blu-rays. And some items that are not movies, but instead TV and other things. And lastly, in that pile, I did find some special things to spotlight. I did find some Warner Archive editions, including The Crimson Pirate, 7 Days in May, and The Sultan's Sea, which is Warner Archive, even though it doesn't quite look like it from here. I got some Kino Lorber, Children's Hour, Man on Fire, Boat on a Dolphin, and The Scalp Hunters. Surprised to find so many Kino and Warner Archive. And then a couple Olive titles. And so then, these VHS and one DVD can be deleted from the collection. From Goodwill. From an antique mall. From eBay. This one, upgrading VHS. You saw the rest of these earlier in the video. These are the last two I needed to complete the full collection of this series. And I've got these from eBay. From eBay. Went to a thrift store and a Goodwill. Here's what I picked up, including that VHS upgrade. And another VHS upgrade. And oh look, a Criterion DVD that was sealed for only $2. Great find. For today's entries in the Pantheon, I chose two movies that are kind of post-apocalyptic, and then there's a bonus film. The first one I chose is one that I discovered, I don't know, almost 20 years ago, perhaps. Panic in the Year Zero from 1962, which I have here on this MGM Midnight Movies double feature with Vincent Price's Last Man on Earth, which of course is another great film. But this one is in the pantheon because um, when I first watched this, which I watched from this DVD, um, I remember one night it was pretty late, at least midnight-ish, but I wasn't sleepy and I wanted to watch a movie, and I had a portable DVD player. I still have it, but which I had recently gotten, and so I decided to prop myself up in bed with this little DVD player, put this movie in, and watch it. Fully expecting to, not finish it, fall asleep, whatever. No. I was wide awake through the whole thing. Uh, it was quite the experience. I was riveted the whole time. Um, Stars Ray Milland, Frankie Avalon's in there, uh, as well as Gene Hagen. You can see the mushroom cloud behind them. This is a movie in which Ray Milland and his family find out that cities nearby are being hit with nuclear bombs, and they realize that you know the country's being attacked, and so they hightail it to the countryside, to the hills, what have you, to escape from whatever's happening. So he takes his family, to a remote location away from a city. And of course, civilization breaks down. No one can be trusted. Bad things happen. They have to try to survive. Um, I was shocked at some of the things that happened in this movie from 1962. Some of the um, bad stuff that happened to the characters. But it was just a great film of a family trying to survive directly after a nuclear attack. So a immediate post-apocalyptic kind of film, a during and post apocalyptic film. But I love this movie, um, so it's obviously in the pantheon. The fun thing about this movie is that over the years I've noticed a lot of other movies that are similar, that have similar plots, where a family goes off to a remote location, perhaps up in the mountains or perhaps somewhere else remote, to stay away from whatever madness is happening as there's a nuclear war and humanity's going crazy. Um, I can think of at least three other films right off the bat. One that is really similar to this in a way is 1984's Massive Retaliation. I'll put a picture up here. A little known film, to my knowledge, only available in VHS, that has a very similar story. Um, so, anyway, Panic in the Year Zero, great stuff, recommended. Next up, something a little different. 1979 from Andrei Tarkovsky, Stalker. This is the Criterion disc. I remember when this came out. When this disc came out, I got it at a Barnes & Noble at the Inner Harbor in Baltimore, which sadly I don't think is there anymore. And I remember when I walked in to buy it, the guy told me that I can't remember what number. I don't know if I was like the 11th person or something to buy it that day, and I was like, wow. That's impressive. But anyway, yeah. This one I had watched for the first time actually on Netflix disc through the mail way back when. And was really captivated by it. It's a something you'd call slow cinema, in that things happen very slowly and very deliberately, and you get really wrapped up in that. but it's also a kind of movie that then becomes surreal and perhaps not one that you want to think too hard about trying to figure out. Once they go into the zone, which is this um, off limits area, like an irradiated area, at least it was in real life, which is another story. Um, the characters start encountering all sorts of weirdness, and it's a long movie. It's 161 minutes, so be prepared. But it's quite the viewing experience, and I remember just loving that about it. So it's my favorite Tarkovsky as well as being one of my all-time favorite Pantheon films. But yes, unfortunately, the filming of this movie happened in um, a place that had some radiation, and the director and some other people got sick, and the director died eventually because of it. So, sadly, but the film endures and is great, and I recommend it. Um, yeah, essentially a metaphysical journey through an enigmatic post-apocalyptic landscape, as it says. A hired guide, the Stalker, leads a writer and a professor into the heart of the zone, the restricted site of a long ago disaster. And they discover the room, a place rumored to fulfill one's most deeply held desires. Yeah. So, this Stalker, 1979. And then, as a bonus, just throwing in this really common title, but it's one that I just recently added to my pantheon of favorite films because I realized, hey, it should have been there already. But just to give it a quick mention, Scream, the original. I remember when I first saw this, it was quite the revelation. So well scripted, so fun, so fresh, and I loved the killer, the mask, um, and of course I loved all the meta of it back then. But yeah, so classic horror film, slasher, that is in the pantheon. Love it. So just giving it a quick mention as a bonus. But yeah, so here's something else. So for the bookshelf, in this episode, I have 3 books, but they're 3 volumes of a set. From author Roberto Curti, we have Italian Gothic Horror Films, actually, I'm doing that backwards. Starting here, 1957 to 1969. Then 1970 to 1979, then 1980 to 1989. 2 of these I got from the Target sale because the same sale from earlier where I got all those movies, because books were included in the buy 2 get 1 free as well. And then I got the remaining volume from Amazon. But these are essential if you're into Italian Gothic horror films, and there's a lot of them. And this is something, it's very adjacent to Hammer horror, but this is something that I've been getting into a lot recently, and I wanted to have these volumes. But they are just exactly the kind of thing I like. Obviously, they're in chronological order. They go film by film. List the film, give you all the pertinent information, a brief synopsis, and then they give you, the author gives you all of his thoughts on the film. And there are some illustrations, a lot of movie posters. So these I would call essential if you're into these kind of films. So again, the first one's 50s through 60s. Then you have one just for the 70s because it was a popular time for them. And then you have one for the 80s. So I'd highly recommend these to any fan of Italian Gothic horror. But these are new additions to the collection. That's why I wanted to mention them. That I'm very excited to have, very excited to dig into. You know, if I had all the time in the world, I would take books like this and I would just sit and I would just go movie by movie by movie, read it, watch it, which I can still do, sure, but it's going to take me a long time. You know, especially with the other movies I want to watch and work and other responsibilities, but you know, those are dream projects. Anyway, 3 volumes from Roberto Curti, Italian Gothic horror films. And with that, finally finishing this episode. So until next time, everyone, enjoy your movies.